Well, hello and welcome to the kitchen of the dollhouse. And what are we cooking up tonight? Well, another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Just Elfers for September 18th, the day of internal mystery. That's right. And here at the top of the page is a visual representation of the day of internal mystery. We have us an image of a veiled canopy. I don't know if that's what you'd call it, but it's some kind of, I don't know, cage that's got a veil over the top of it. It's not necessarily important, but maybe we can draw some lines there as we get on with the read. What is important is it's someone's birthday today. That's right. Is September 18th your birthday? Well, if it is, I just want to extend you a heartfelt happy birthday. That's why we're here today, to wish you happy birthday. And if this video finds you long or perhaps shortly after your birthday has already come and gone, well, I hope you had a happy birthday. That's right. But for everyone else joining us randomly, or more ideally, to celebrate September 18th birthday, I just want to say hello and welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. All right, now before we dive in with the birthday redirect, something we like to do around these here pods is roll some dice. That's right, it is the DykASSt, a birthday cast, so we need to live up to the namesake. And more importantly, we do it, almost dropped one, for synchronicity's sake. We rolled us a 4 and a 3 for 7. That's right. Now, what is synchronicity? Some of you may be wondering. Well, it's just you getting out into the world and letting the universe show you it's with you on your path as you drop the dice. That's right. Your 4 and your 3 for a 7. And you do that by letting these numbers stand as your wayposts, so to speak, or the things you look for. When you see your numbers, it could be a 34, 43, depending upon how you flip it and frame it there, or your 7, and you just chase after those numbers. All right, it might be a bus. That's an example I like to use a lot. You see the number 7 bus, well, you hop right on it. That's your number, right? And you follow it till, say, the number 4 stop. Or maybe there's somebody that has a hockey jersey on with the number 7 or 34 on it, and they're getting off. Well, you just follow them. And where do they take you? Well, they get off the bus and there's a magic shop, and they've got canopied cages or some such thing. See, maybe that's the through line there. That's the theme the day seems to take on. You see people shrouded in mystery. There's no telling, all right? There's little things that can start to happen, or big, grandiose things, but here nor there. You're getting out of the house, you're getting your steps in, and you're opening yourself up to the universe, showing that it's with you on your path. So just keep your eyes open for your daily numbers. That's right. That's all there is to it. All right, get out there and have fun if you decide to do so. Now, that might not be what synchronicity is, but that's the way I understand it. So anyway, hey, let's dive in with your birthday read. That's why you're here, right? Your month is September, your day the 18th, your sign is 24 to 26 degrees Virgo, of the Virgo III period specifically, and your quality and element is mutable earth. All right, September 18th, the day of internal mystery. Those born on September 18th are very private, even secretive people who, for one reason or another, often find themselves in very public careers. Their world is a highly personal one to which entrance is not easily granted. And they can be depended on, but perhaps not forever, because with great finality and suddenness, they are capable of closing the door on a friendship or love relationship. Thus, they may be dangerous people to get involved with unless their partners are prepared for such changes of heart. And those born in this day are capable of attaining tremendous success, but they can equally be hounded by repeated failure and plain bad luck. The theme of beauty is central to their lives. They are highly sensitive to any kind of strife, violence, or bitter competition, which they would just as soon avoid. And the fact is that September 18th people are not capable of handling a lot of stress, and despite their often imposing or attractive appearance, may also not be blessed with the highest degree of self-confidence. And when September 18 people are faced with complex problems, however, they respond to challenge well. Because basically they enjoy figuring things out. And they really do want to understand. And in order to do that, they often sequester or isolate themselves from the world. so that they can conduct their internal investigations in private. Thoughtful, ruminative, and deep people, they take life very seriously, perhaps too seriously. And most September 18th people have a special relationship with worship or belief, whether realized in personal development, artistic expression, or social interaction. And because of their devotional nature, they do well with studies and lifestyles which demand unbroken concentration and attention, as well as submerging of their ego. And this suppression of their affect can create emotional difficulties, but may also produce an air of mystery about them that makes them highly attractive. And one must know when to approach those born on September 18 and when to leave them alone. More than with most other people, success in a relationship with them will depend on a mate's ability to be sensitive to this timing. And September 18 people are often found far from their original home, either geographically or emotionally. And some born on this day prefer not to be reminded of their past. And in general, they leave what is past behind them and rarely reopen a closed issue or a failed relationship. Well, I'll say that wasn't the most, bright or positive birthday read. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes they dive into some that are a little bit more depressing, if you like. But there were some positives in there, too. We got to take what we can get, right? It can't all be great. I know my dad's was one that wasn't particularly positive. So it kind of sucks when you see the people you love kind of get thrown in with some negative stuff on the page there. And sometimes it applies, sometimes it doesn't. They can only write so much on one page, right? But in any event, hey, let's see what I had to say in the notes, provide a little bit of a commentary here on the birthday read. See if I can find something to mine out of all the sad sack kind of, I don't know, what do you call it? Negative Nancy stuff they were throwing into it. All right, let's see if I did that. I can't recall. September 18th, the very private, secretive people who find themselves in public careers, but who also guard admittance to the private spheres. To the extent that they are known for closing the door on people they've previously admitted into their lives, seemingly without explanation, if the word suddenness is to be taken how I would think it means, all right? And what it's based on, such circumstances that I've personally experienced myself from similarly capable individuals, to which, I question why, but at the same time, pretty sure I don't want to know the simple answer, and don't want to hear it voiced either. But shifting focus away from that otherwise unpleasant reality, the reading conveys a capacity for great success, okay, with the added understandable burden of failure and or bad luck, to which I can't imagine it's always wine and roses regardless of how much good fortune one encounters, all right? Even lottery winners get hounded for cash to the point they wish they hadn't won, all right? At least I want to say I've heard talk of as much, okay? The likes of which you may understand, being sensitive to any kind of strife you would rather avoid, as the reading said. And stress as well, apparently running counter to a lot of the previous Virgos, surprisingly. Some of them thrive on the stuff, but we're all different, right? Also, what I'd say, self-confidence is also mentioned as a concern, as well as a peculiar dynamic for approachability and a seeming reconciliation of their own self-nature. Submerging of the ego is interesting note, as I thought that was an aspiration to some extent. You wanna kill off the ego, I thought. All right, that's something we were supposed to strive for, apparently. But maybe when taken to an extreme, a kind of devaluation of the own self-worth is a concern in that regard. Certainly not one to say, but it's interesting to think about and to be mindful of, assuming any and or all of it even applies, all right? But hey, any event, I didn't really reconcile much of it, but I did bring up the old lottery thing. Not everybody shares good luck, but even when you do, sometimes it's a bad omen. All right. Hey, let's dive in with your numbers and your planets. See if they salvage this a little bit here. Those born on the 18th of the month are ruled by the number 9, as 1 plus 8 equals 9, and by the planet Mars. And when combined with their Mercury influences, Virgo's ruling planet, if you didn't know, this grants a quick mind, but also a tendency to be undiplomatic, even tactless, it says. And September 18 people have to beware of flare-ups of temper and also of rejecting others abruptly. And I think they did mention that one. Their ability to control these impulses and harness their positive Mars-Mercury, energetic mental qualities can only yield positive results. And the number 9 also lends survival skills to those born on this day. So they said it right there. You have the capacity to get up and rise above all those negative Nancy things that they strewn all throughout the breakdown there. Yeah, so don't let that get you down, all right? Look at it as an opportunity. That's right. Prove them wrong. That's all right. What I have to say about your numbers and your planets. I almost forgot to read my notes here. The number 9 and the planet Mars for that god of war male energy, or those undiplomatic temperamental flare-ups. I definitely try and tame as much of that as you can and practice reserved self-control, even if you think it doesn't apply, okay? I don't think of myself as a particularly explosive individual, as is endorsed by my rulership of Uranus, but on occasion, I do have my knee-jerk responses and say things I shouldn't. To people I can't believe I even said it to. But all that said, nothing wrong with taking a little time to think things through, without responding, especially in hot, temperamental moments. Anyway, food for thought, even if none of this applies to you. That's what I drilled down on with your numbers and your planets. I also noticed the number 9 was mentioned here, right? Normally, with number 9, they go through all the maths to say 4 plus 5 equals 9, and 4 times 5 is 45. All of that to say that, just like the maths where 9 relates to any given number, they say that you relate and influence other people. Surprisingly, that wasn't mentioned here for you, and I don't know why, but I thought I would drop it in there for you anyway, in case you wanted to investigate numerology further in that regard. So let's move on to your tarot. The 18th card, the major arcana, is the moon, which primarily represents the world of dreams, emotions, and the unconscious. Positive attributes include sensitivity, empathy, and emotional understanding. Negative qualities include emotional malleability, passivity, and a lack of ego. Once again, with the ego there, like you shouldn't have one. I guess they want you to have an even keel ego. Not too little, not too much. All right. What I have to say about your tarot here. The moon card for the world of dreams, the unconscious, and emotions. The positives of the card are sensitivity, empathy, and emotional understanding, which hopefully are drilled down upon and prevent any kind of previously mentioned, unexplained, unceremonious shunning of loved ones or friends. All right, because that's just that was the one I keyed to as the most negative in the bunch. But I have experience with that, and it kind of sucks. So you're thinking these people, they don't have any empathy, they can't understand, but maybe that's the only way that they know to avoid their own sensitive reactions to the emotions. Who's to say? You can kind of sympathize with it anyway in those regards. Negative traits conferred, things already previously mentioned. That's right. All right. So the card was apparently heavily borrowed from, ostensibly, for the breakdown. We don't need to dive into all that stuff. It's just a well-trodden ground at this point. So let's get in with your health. All right. September 18, people can be prone to chronic ailments, sometimes resulting from serious accidents or operations. Vulnerable areas include the abdominal cavity, reproductive organs, kidneys, and adrenals. And when September 18 people are plagued by health problems, they can be quite stoic and learn to live with them. And they should, however, become more active in combating ill effects in a positive and therapeutic way. Appetites, both relating to food and sex, must not become an expression of neuroses, whether this means over or underindulgence. Over or underindulgence. There was a hyphen in there, threw me. September 18th people can be particularly destructive to themselves when their energies are out of balance and therefore may benefit from acupuncture, chiropractic, or yoga. All right, what I have to say about your health. Let's dive into it. See what we had to say. Prone to chronic ailments and abdominal vulnerability. Therapeutic means of addressing ailments are recommended. And I, for one, can say acupuncture definitely gets a notable mention from me. All right? Get that time to zone out and reset to some extent. You know, assuming I can get to a place where I can be shut the mind down. And it's often that first 15 minutes, I'm just laying there trying to find myself a mantra to shut it down, close the mind down, think about things later. All right. And for some reason, I don't know, it seems to work. Even if it's just a placebo effect. Who's to say? I'm all in. All right. Either way, find a means to be mindful and adjust/reconcile life's events, especially if they're the ones that are previously outlined in the breakdown, because those can be troublesome. That's for sure. I'm hoping that this doesn't apply to you. That's right. All right. So now that we've read your health, let's dive in with some advice. All right. Learn to be more perseverant, rather. Maybe that's how to say it. All right. Conflict is sometimes necessary. And try to understand what your body is telling you. Don't ignore physical symptoms. And your mysterious nature may be keeping you out of the light. So brighten up. That's what it says in the book there. And that's been your advice. All right. So what did I have to say about your advice? You know, the conflict is sometimes necessary. It didn't really dawn on me what that meant. But maybe it's the fact that this person that they describe as leaving relationships kind of unceremoniously, maybe they're trying to avoid a conflict. And maybe they're trying to say you should rise in those situations and just do it anyway. You know, help with closure on both ends. But that's just what occurred to me there. So let's dive in with your advice. I had to write it in the book because I ran out of space in the notes. All right. All in all, not the most positive birthday read, all things considered. We said that as much. But not the worst either. All right. They can all be glowing, and there'd be no credence to necessarily throw behind the astrology thing if everything was peaches and cream, right? But as in failing teaches us things, hearing ostensibly shortcomings humbles us and keeps us mindful. All right, yeah. Sometimes, you know, being a failure helps us rise up and figure out what we did wrong and improve upon it. So maybe this is the perfect opportunity to hear the things that may or may not speak to you and help you think on them, right? Everyone has something of value to offer, and I'd argue for a lot of us that's difficult to find. So persevere in trying to find it if you haven't, or if this reading hits home, use it as a tool, motivation of what to overcome and what to improve. Yeah, I think we've said all that, haven't we? All right. That's been your advice. That's been my little shoebox there. What do they call it? Apple box to get up on. So let's take the energy down just a hair and move on to your meditation. All right, your meditation. Everything in the universe is alive. Once more, everything in the universe is alive. I'm not going to break it down for you. That's your meditation. That's for you to take home with you. I'd probably throw some spin on it that might not help you or that you may not like. I would say it'd probably lean into everything else we've been talking about. So, but here I am trying to influence you again. Or not trying to, but doing it. All right. So, hey, let's dive in with your strengths and your weaknesses. All right. Here we go again. All right. So let's get in with your strengths. Your strengths, you're thoughtful, you're serious, and you're aesthetic. And your weaknesses, here we go again, right? Isolated, troubled, and negative. All right. Hey, you know what? We probably could have come up with some more hurtful words. Those weren't too terribly bad there. Troubled. That one kind of encompasses everything there. Who's to say? None of this may even apply to you. You might be an anomaly. Or you might have decided to give up on any kind of credence you was going to give astrology as soon as you heard all of this. That's right. I might be one to be that same way. In any event, hey, so that's been your strengths and your weaknesses. Let's dive in with those born on this day. And when we dive in with those born on this day, I like to take this opportunity to talk about something that I find important, and that is chasing after our passions. And I say that because I get out of the world and meet folks asking what they do, and more importantly, if they like it, and often they don't. All right, and that's no fault on their part, really, because in this world there's just no time to put in the work to figure out your passion. A lot of times it's not always just right in your face, or sometimes it is, but you don't know how to see it. And so I was thinking this is the perfect opportunity to not only see who shares your company, but to see what got them famous, see what got them put in the book, put their stamp on the cultural lexicon or zeitgeist, if you like. And if you find that you don't have any inspirations, or you're having a trouble drilling down on a passion, well, maybe this can provide some form of inspiration there. These might not have been these people's passions, but it got them on the map, so maybe you can derive something from it. All right, let's dive in with those born on this day. And we start off with Greta Garbo, the Swedish-American film actress icon. After unsuccessful film, went into seclusion in the New York apartment and quote-unquote, "I want to be alone," something she said. We have Cesar Borgia, a Florentine aristocrat, a cardinal, and a soldier. Edwin Macmillan, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist, and discovered plutonium, and he used the cyclotron. We have Samuel Johnson, the English language authority and the lexiconographer, and the dictionary creator and a writer of Rasalius. We also have Kawarne Nkrumah, a Ghanaian socialist dictator, overthrown by a coup. I think I pronounced that one half decent there. I'm sure it was wrong, but I think, all right. We got Robert Blake, the film, TV actor of Beretta. We have Jack Warden, the film, TV, and stage actor. And we also have Agnes DeMille, a dancer and a Broadway choreographer. We also have Frank Avalon, a singer, film actor, and a teen idol. We have Jack Cardiff, a British cameraman, film director of Sons and Lovers. We also have Dr. Walter Koch, was a mathematician, or Koch maybe, K-O-C-K, C-H rather, those ones always get me, mathematician and astrologer. John Diefenbaker was the Canadian Prime Minister. We also have Rossano Brazzi, an Italian film actor. Jimmy Rogers, country western singer and songwriter. We have Hiroshi Sato, was a Nippon Steel president. Eddie Anderson, comedian, radio actor, and it says Rochester. We have Peter Smithson, British architect. William Collins, a British 19th century landscape painter. Harvey Haddix, a baseball pitcher, and he pitched 12 perfect innings in one game, but lost. And we have Wealthy Fisher, a missionary. So we had a whole swath of famous folks born on this day. Only one who wanted to be alone, ostensibly. That has been those born on this day. Hopefully you drew some inspiration from the actors or the scientists and so forth. And that pretty much rounds out your birthday reading. Except to say, your season is summer. Your sign, once again, is Virgo, of the Virgo III period specifically. And your quality and element is mutable earth. And this has been September 18th. The Day of Internal Mystery, from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and you, Stelfers. I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description. If you're interested in picking up your own copy, it does dive in more in depth with other folks' birthdays and zodiac signs and such. Don't let any of the negative stuff that might have been on your day influence you too much, all right? It's good to hear some of these things sometimes and be mindful of it, even if it doesn't apply, because I think we all have the capacity to some extent to fall into certain pitfalls or negative things that might get mentioned in any kind of book. So in any event, that has been your birthday, and with that said, I just want to say happy birthday, all right? And I hope you had a happy birthday if this reaches you late. But for everyone else who's joining us to celebrate the September 18th birthday, I want to say thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you on your birthday read. Any event, before we take us out, don't forget your daily numbers. That's right, a 4 and a 3 for a 7. Get out there and let the universe show you it's with you on your path. All right, take care of yourselves. And once again, happy birthday. Take care.